Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Bridging the Gap. I'm your host, Vermont Williams. Um, we were supposed to be having a young lady on from Texas. She may be running a little late. So as soon as she pops in, we'll bring her on board. I hope everyone is having a safe and a blessed day. Um, and as I always say, that you know, the purpose of this show is to create a dialogue between men and women. Not just particularly black men and women, but women, men and women in general. Okay, so with that being said, today's topic is perspectives of the modern day women. So I don't know what this young lady's perspective is going to be that supposed to come on because I just met her. Well, I haven't met her in person. I just met her online. So really haven't talked, just been texting kind of back and forth. Um, so I really don't know. I had another guest that was supposed to have been on too. I think she's running kind of late too. So anyhow, let's get this thing cracking. Okay. Perspectives of modern day women. And what does it mean? Well, it may have a different meaning, connotation for a lot of different people. So I'm gonna share something with you that happened today with me. I was on the phone talking to a young lady who I used to date, and I never knew that this lady had these type of perspectives. Um, but then again, maybe that's the reason me and her don't talk any longer. But we were talking about um, my youngest son and his girlfriend. Now, everybody has a way when you're talking about adults running a house, and what they believe is morally sound and what's morally not sound. But let me say this about you women today, okay? Um, it's okay for you to have an opinion. That's not what the issue is. The issue with men today and women today, in my opinion, is it's not what you say, it's so often how you say it. You don't even talk to men with any dignity, with any respect. It's almost like because you've been told that your voice matters or your opinion matters, that you become instantly, if you can articulate somewhat, you become conversation bullies. And what I mean by that, not only are you combative and argumentative, you just don't want the man to have a say. And I'm really tired of hearing this about if you were a man, you know what you what a man should or shouldn't do. Um, I find it very difficult when women are having problems defining what a woman is outside of what social media has defined them as being. How can you give a man the definition of what a man is, shouldn't be? Um, so get into bed or go in there with your brother, please. So it behooves me to hear women say this. And I just think that we're in that point where all this lady, and as I've said on previous shows, it's going to come to an end. It is, with the way that the world is evolving. You're having your moment now where you can play, you can be disrespectful, you can say you don't need a man. But when we come back to that starting point, because this feminist, this independent thing it has had its turn. And in my belief, it's gonna run its course and then it's gonna run out. And I think what's gonna happen, a lot of you ladies are gonna be left standing in the cold. And all of you that have voiced your opinion negatively against men, particularly good men, because you're trying to be um, validated by your friends, your co-workers, your girlfriends, whatever you want to call them. Uh, you're going to find yourself taken back, lonely, like a lot of you are now. So I'm waiting for this lady. Because a lot of the things, you know, I've always said this and always will because it's just my belief. I I patronize any woman that wants a better life for herself. Okay, and I don't have a problem with that. Never have. What I have a problem with is we've come to that point where, like I said, it's going to run its course. Where you women, I just lost my train of thought. Uh, so well, I'm about to go to something else. I'm trying to text and get her logged on while I'm talking. I just lost my train of thought. But on another note, when you women realize, and I think you do realize that, you know, you have the mindset that you currently have, it's okay. But a lot of men, certain types of men, will not be very receptive to that. And the reason why, because I think it gives women a sense of dominance when they know that they can manipulate a man and get him out of his character to play the roles that they want him to play. Uh, so um, it gives you a sense of accomplishment when you know you have demoralized a man or male pretending to be a man, where you got him down to the level that you wish him to be at or demand him to be at, and that way you take control. But it's not about, and this is the point that I was getting to. Um, I think we could resolve this issue if we would just take out of the equation what society has put in there, where everything is based upon how a woman looks, um, or what she believes a man wants. The finance issue. Now, of course, nobody wants to live with someone that's not providing for the family. I understand that. But my point is this: when did all these things come into the equation? That a man or a woman has to make so much money, has to have so many materialistic things. Whatever happened to the basics of things, where men and women got together because they enjoyed each other's company, or they wanted to plan a future to be together, or they just wanted to do things together. Those things seem like they become obsolete. Everything now that I hear is coming out of both men and women's mouths are basically The women are saying they want a man to have a certain to be to hold on a second. Let me send this lady who can't seem to get this right. Okay, let's go back to StreamYard. Cut this off. Yeah, we sent it again. Yeah, it just seems like a bunch of hoopla to me, where people use excuses because there a lot of people are single, and I grant it. A lot of people are not single because they can't be with anybody. They're single by choice, both men and women. And a lot of people are single because they're riding that bandwagon. They're doing what everybody else is doing, and on the flip side, I don't know what these men are doing because I don't interact with a lot of them. But for myself, it's just hard for me to be with a woman being a man. And I guess I would be considered under societal's stereotypical category. I would be an alpha male. I just have a hard time accepting a woman talking to me any type of way. If I'm not talking to her, I'm not being condescending, I'm not being degrading, I'm not being disrespectful, demeaning. And for a woman to just say, well, I'm entitled to my opinion. Of course, lady, you are entitled to your opinion. But remember, your opinion comes with respect. So let me see.
Can you see me?
No, I can't see you. I can hear you though.
Wait a minute.
You, you check your video.
It says my camera's on.
It seems like it wants to come on, but it's not coming on. You can try it a couple more times. If it don't work, we can just do the audio if you like.
Okay. Let me call it right back.
Okay.
All right.
Bye bye. So anyhow, I just think as we modern day and the technology advance, we should elevate with it to, I mean, as far as maturity level goes, because so many people say they're grown and they still think and act like children. Just because you're paying a mortgage, paying for a car, cable, and you buy your own little clothes and stuff, don't make you grown. It just means that you, by society standards, you're a grown up, but it doesn't mean that you act and think and conduct yourself as an adult should. Um, and it's just funny to me how when I go online and try to reach out to a lot of sisters and brothers, they got this thing going called F4F. You follow and follow me, I'll follow you. So basically, what it's doing is it circumvents the system they have in place for anybody that wants to acquire monetary gain from having their face or voice on the internet or social media. They get a certain amount of followers in, and this is how they acquire this status. Well, anyhow, I've been on this. I've reached out. I mean, hundreds of people, and it's not that my content is
It's not working.
it's not working.
It's not working. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, okay. Well, we can just go with are you on your phone or a laptop?
I'm on my phone right now. I'm actually
Okay.
still moving around. That's probably that's why.
Okay. Well, we'll just go with your audio.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll try next time. Well, how do you pronounce your name?
LaDonna.
Ladonna, because it came up on the screen as Kiera.
Kiera, yeah.
Yeah. So my name is Ramon
You can call me
Ladonna.
either or. You can call me LaDonna or Kiera. It doesn't really
Okay.
matter.
Um, and you're a guest on Bridging the Gap between Black men and Black women. Have you seen any of my previous episodes?
Have I seen any of your podcasts?
Yes.
No, sir.
Okay. So please introduce yourself for our audience, please.
Okay. My name is LaDonna May. I'm 33. I currently live in Texas and I have 3 children.
Are you single? Are you married?
I would say single. I'm in a relationship, but I'm not married, so technically I'm single.
Okay. So you're in a relationship. So
Yeah.
let me pose this question to you because today's topic is perspectives of modern day women.
Hmm.
Okay. So I can only ask for your perspective because I know it will differ from mine.
Right.
Okay. So what do you think about your family, friends, and coworkers who takes on these titles of being divas, bosses, independents, the ones that have declared their independence that say they don't need a man? What is your perspective on that?
Well, honestly, independent or not, we need a man. Because there's a lot of stuff that we cannot do. Like, I understand a lot of us think that we're super women, and, kudos to them. But at the end of the day, we definitely need a man. We need men for safety. Um, a lot of us need men for comfort. Um, a lot of us need men for, well, I don't need a man for financial ability, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always something that a man can pick up that a woman is lacking. So I for me to be 33, I honestly feel like I was born in the wrong generation because I've never in my life had that mindset. Like, I don't need a man, because I know for a fact I need a man for sure.
So let me ask you this question. Since this is your perspective, and which seems to be um, the perspective of a lot of women today, it seems to be picking up momentum. Do you ever find yourself engaged in conversations with family members, friends, or co-workers in reference to their perspectives about relationships?
Honestly, all the time, a lot of people ask for my advice, honestly, because, like I said, I feel like I was born in the wrong generation. So I would give an older woman response, even though I'm only 33. I even have conversations like this with my grandma, and my grandma was a single woman, and she took care of 7 kids by herself, and then she raised 4 more that weren't even hers, and she did it by herself. So I mean, it's in certain instances, I guess you can say, like, a lot of women can be independent, but at the same time, I be having to let her know, like, if you don't need a man, you wouldn't call your sons for things. You call my uncles and ask them to do a lot of stuff for you that, physically, being a woman, you cannot do. And if you felt so strong about that, like, you've been independent, you don't need a man, you wouldn't call my uncles. So I mean, I feel like it's certain aspects, like, women, how do I put this without sounding like a pygmy? Because I don't want to sound like a pygmy, but this is my genuine, honest opinion. I feel like a lot of women get hurt by men so much. They try so hard to pick up the slack that only a man can pick up. They try so hard to pick up that slack, but in their mind, they know that they they definitely the man, but they're too stubborn to admit it and face the facts. Like, Just like how men need women, women need men.
Okay, are you a spiritual person?
I am. I was raised up in the church.
Okay. So it would be safe to suggest to you that your belief system is based upon God's divine order, correct?
Uh, yeah, more, yeah, yeah,
Okay. So you know that order would be God, man, woman, children, and then everything else falls underneath that.
right.
Would you agree with that?
I do.
Okay. So with that being said, what do you think? Because I created this podcast and there's a lot of them out there and a lot of people giving their opinions about this and that. What do
Hmm.
you think we could do, particularly as black men and black women, to bring some resolve, to create a dialogue where men and women are not competing against each other? Because we both know, you being from the woman's gender, me being a man, there's so many things that women can do that men can't do,
Hmm.
but there's a lot of things that men can do that women can't even attempt to do.
Right.
So what would be your suggestion? What kind of dialogue should we create where men and women are back at the table again, back to the days of old basics, where we're courting each other instead of fighting and challenging each other?
Well, honestly, it just really comes back to communication. Like it seemed like the older we got, the it's like how do I put this? Um, I'm trying to find the right words without saying this wrong, but it's like you said, it comes with time. Like I want to say around the time where drugs really got bad, honestly, and all the men were being taken away from the home, you know what I'm saying? And it left for the woman to do both jobs, to be the man and the woman. So I feel like in some aspects it came from that point in time, but then it also comes with lack of communication. We also have men that don't know how to lead but want to lead, so it comes from that as well. We have women that want to lead. Um, it's really a lot of things that tie into that.
So let me ask you this: where were you born and raised at?
I was born in Louisiana, but I was raised in Vegas.
So you were raised under that old tradition.
Um, technically, so how I was raised was my grandma has always told me a man is supposed to be the provider. If a man can't provide, can't protect, then at the end of the day, that's gonna fall on you, which is what I seen. Like my grandma, she wasn't married, but we did have she did have a male figure who absolutely took care of everything, took care of her, took care of us, and then also all of my aunties are married, and the majority of my uncles are married, and that's something that they like they've shown me like even though they do have their opinions and my uncles are very open to hear them, it's more so like, okay, let's kind of get on a common ground, or you know what I'm saying? Let me show you why you should feel this way, or show me why you feel that way. You know, it's I feel like it always ties down into communication. A lot of at least this generation, we don't communicate. And I'm not gonna lie, we don't communicate. We don't communicate how they communicated when it was how it was supposed to be. Like a man is supposed to lead, a man is supposed to do this, a man is supposed to do that, a man is supposed to be a foundation. Um, so I just feel like a lot of it now is more so influence because now you have uh, a lot of people in the public eye. Oh, you don't need a man, you don't need a man, but we do, you know.
So when you talk about some of the values that people lack today as opposed to yesterday, I'm 62 years old.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, you look
So
good to be 62. Go
thank you.
ahead.
Um, have you ever been on the West Coast,
uh, like what? California? Like that?
California, Las Vegas?
Yeah, I was raised in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So you know, when you talk about demographics, as you bounce around throughout the
Mhm.
United States, the perspectives and mindsets of Black people, particularly, are different.
Yeah.
Okay, it seems to be the norm now for women to just be so outspoken, so
Mhm.
combative, so
Mhm.
argumentative, conversation bullies, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, I
Mhm.
just said this when before you got on that to me it's a turnoff for any woman to portray those characteristic traits of a man. You know,
Absolutely. Mhm.
and what I mean by that is I understand the dilemma that happened that society created when they pulled the men out of the houses and they instilled this thought process in the women where if you wanted housing, if you wanted assistance, you had to get rid of the man because now they know if they get rid of the Black man that can influence and keep the family structure together, then
Right.
they can manipulate the woman. Okay,
Right.
I understand all that. So the woman had to play both roles. I get all that.
Mhm.
A lot of women have had these desires and still do have these desires
Right.
to excel academically, okay, and that's fine. To pursue financial freedom, that's fine. But how do you acquire so much academic accolades and you can't differentiate from the realities that you're creating and the realities that exist? Because now you're 30 something years old, so you're like half my age.
Mhm.
If you go back when people got together, say hypothetically, if I met you and I liked you, we exchanged numbers, we went on dates, and then we made it official. We let everybody know. It wasn't this prolonged thing now that I have to do a background check on you. I
Yeah.
have to know who your kids are, where you come from, what school you went to. It's just ridiculous. This dating scene is so out of hand now. I see why a lot of people are staying single.
Yeah. Um. Not to cut you off. Honestly, I was with my kid's father for like 7 years. We got engaged. We were married for like 6 months, and then I couldn't do it anymore. But the dating, like you said, the dating scene is so trash. I'm just now getting in a relationship. We've been in a relationship for 2 years, but it took me at least like 5 or 6 years to even, you know what I'm saying, even want to put myself back on the market because I, me personally, I have the beliefs that I have because I am a submissive woman. You know, I want someone to lead me because I want to be a better person. Um, so that's why I stayed single for so long because it was just like this is not. My grandpa would never do this. Like my papa would never act this way. You know what I'm saying? So it was plus, like you said, in different the different areas you are is definitely a different demographic because me being out here in Texas, I
Hello, LaDonna. Well, I heard a phone ring, and then she just. Are you
but
there?
my daughter was calling me, but like I was saying, with me being out here, I haven't never I encountered the man that I have now in Vegas. Like I've never encountered a man like that. They want you to be submissive, but then it's like you still have to lead the relationship. I feel like if that makes sense. So like you said, it definitely comes. It definitely ties in with like where you're brought up and really how you were raised. Because if you weren't raised right, then you're no good. To me, you're no good to nobody. Um, yeah, that's really how I feel about it.
So when it comes to men, okay, and I can say that because I have a lot of what I would like to call degenerates in my family. You know, I think a lot of males live under this fallacy that if they have a large penis or they can produce children or they
Mhm.
can fight or carry a pistol, that makes them
Mhm.
a man. You know,
Mhm.
in conclusion, we all know that's those are not characteristic traits of real men. But
Right.
yet this has been personified throughout the media, throughout our culture, and throughout
Mhm.
society as a whole. So with that being said, oftentimes we have to go back to this thing that's called accountability.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, if a woman is in that mindset to rear children with all the experiences that she has witnessed in her life, if she's to a certain age, she
Mhm.
should know that she would think she would know she better be very selective in the guy she chooses
Right.
to procreate with. Okay. Secondly, you have to know something about this man other than his swag, what he's driving and what he's wearing, and what you believe him or wish him to be.
Right.
Because oftentimes, what I've seen is a lot of women, and I'm not degrading, I'm not bashing by any means. A lot of women know that these guys are not, they don't have very promising futures. Their characteristic traits are not keen, but they interact with these guys, have children by these guys, and then they get bitter because they're hurt and disappointed.
Mhm.
Well, who's to blame for that?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm
Mhm.
not faulting women for this because, like I said, a lot of these guys they play with women's heads. They play these little adolescent games because they know, hey, get out of here. They know that women will gravitate towards it, and it bothers me beyond my wits end to
Mhm.
see men do this. But now we've come so far in society that women are, at least they claim, they're up when men are trying to run game.
Mm.
Okay,
You can't
so
run the game on no man. That's what you can't
so
do.
if you're up to the games that men play, why
Mhm.
are you still being subjected to the same outcome?
Yeah.
This is what I'm not understanding, because it's okay for a woman or a man to be single
Mhm.
if they choose to be. That's your right. That's your God-given right, whether it's based on past experiences or not. Now, I had a conversation with a lady today, and she was telling me it was her belief that a lot of women are refusing to be in relationships because they were battered and abused, raped. And I'm talking about, this shit is getting so dated and obsolete to hear this stuff, because anybody can allege that the reason they're not doing things that's conducive and things that's in balance with being an adult and being responsible, that they were touched or that they were abused. I came
Mhm.
up personally in a household, what we would call a dysfunctional household. I
Yeah.
come up in an era where my family were dope dealers and pimps and drug addicts and prostitutes. So that's the
Mhm.
era I came up in. But did that affect the long term of my life? No, it did
Absolutely
for
not.
a short period.
Yeah.
It did influence me. But
Mhm.
see, when do we come to that point where we grow up and quit using the past as a crutch to say why we don't do things that we knowingly should do
Yeah.
for our personal benefit?
Yeah. I know a lot of that is you need to be it's more so healing, because I know I went through a lot of child trauma. I'm not gonna say what, but I went through a lot. And it at least with me having kids, um no, also growing up, I was very selective with the men that I choose to hang around with, and also women, like, so I mean it definitely has a lot to do with how you heal yourself from certain things. Like I
Right.
said, I just recently got into a different relationship from my kid's father, and it took me so long to get in another relationship because of childhood traumas that I've went through. So it definitely takes time, but to put that solely on why you are the way you are in a relationship or outside of a relationship, or anything that that's hindering you from growing in life, then that right there is the issue within the issue. Because you, like you said, you can't constantly put childhood trauma on why you act the way you act as an adult.
Well, you would think once you become adult, things are going to happen,
Right.
and this is what I try to convey to this lady, that that's just a crutch when people don't want to do what they need to do.
Right.
We're all going to experience different things in life, and that's just a reality. So
Mhm.
you think about the people that were abused and traumatized when they were kids and they grew up to become very successful.
Right.
So if that rule applied, nobody that was traumatized and abused as a child or adolescent would ever be anything in life. They would probably be in a mental asylum. So I'm not apt to embrace that. What I'm saying is simply this. Again, this is the reason I created this show, and I thank you. I really do, LaDonna, for being a guest on the show, because it's
Absolutely.
so hard to get Black women and Black men to support anything that we do.
Yeah.
If they're not being compensated, every person, most of the people I talk to, how much am I being paid?
Yeah.
And my response to that is, okay, this show haven't even been in existence that long. I don't generate any revenue from it. If I
Mhm.
did, I would be more than happy to compensate people for their time, for being on here, given their exploits and their perspectives. But
Right.
oftentimes when people are are requested to be guests, that's because they specialize in something. They're experts in something.
Mhm.
When you look at these other podcasts, they may have 10, 15 women on there, but usually it's only one or two talking. The rest are
Right.
just sitting there
Just sitting there.
because they can't articulate anything. I
Mhm.
seen something today that was so funny, right? And I want to share this with you and the people that's on here. You had all these women and you had these young guys. One, it's always somebody holding the camera and one person holding the mic. So the
Mhm.
guy said, "So what type of man do you want?" Now, all these women on here, these are young women, maybe 30 younger.
Mhm.
And they all responded they wanted six-figure men. He said, "Okay."
Do
So he
you
started
have
asking,
six figures?
what's yeah, six-figure men. What's 4 times 5? And the woman couldn't even answer it. So he had to go to the next lady and he asked her another one. I think it was, what's 3 times 6 or 3 times 8 or something. They could
That's
not even respond.
crazy.
The last woman he got to, he asked her, I think 4 times 5, and she said 20 or something like that, right?
Mhm.
And I'm sitting back and I'm watching this. And I said, these women just made themselves look like the biggest idiots in the world, because you're on social media expressing that you want a certain type of man that you don't even qualify to have.
I'm telling you. That's
It
honestly. that I don't mean to cut you off, but that is again, I say I was born in the wrong generation, because that is a lot of females now. That's their problem. Like, you want something that, like you said, you want something that you don't even qualify for. You don't even know basic math. So how do you want a man with six figures, baby? That is crazy to me. That's insane. Like, so I don't I don't really keep too many friends, because I am raw and uncut. I don't spare no feelings, because I hope nobody spares mine, especially if I really need to hear it. Um, Now, me personally, I and people be like, "Oh, well, how can you say that?" Because I don't like men with kids, although I have three children myself. But the reason with that is because a lot of the men that I have come across, it whether it was casually dating or, you know, held a lot of my time, had baby mamas. Now, me personally, I need you to tell me how it is so I can move accordingly. A lot of men, well, the men that I dealt with, I'm not going to say a lot, but the men that I dealt with that had kids always lied. I had to, with my baby father, I fought his first baby mom like 6 times, but that was when I was younger. I was like early starting out having kids, or early starting out dating in my adult life, or however you want to put it. But so now it's just like, I don't have baby daddy drama. My kid's father is not even in their life. So it's just like, I live a stress free life with my kids. I don't have to worry about no man popping up on me and my kids, or like, if I am talking to somebody, I don't have to worry about them getting it. But it's just like, that's what I was getting. You know what I'm saying? So I always use that as an example, because I would never. I don't give what I don't put out what I can't give, basically. You know. So
You believe in reciprocating.
I do. I do. I definitely do. I do. It's because that, to me, if you can do what I can do for you, I feel like that's the utmost respect to me. I don't know about anybody else, but to me, reciprocating energies it has to be. If it's not like a 50-50 thing, or I pick up your slack, you pick up my slack, I can't deal with it. And that's what it is with this generation. Like, even the women are horrible. It's the oh this
Well,
generation is trash.
let me ask you this question.
Hmm.
What do you think about the women? I'm gonna give you a scenario. A man that meets a woman,
Hmm.
and the woman clearly states, because they meet through some online connection, or what have you.
Hmm.
Um, no numbers are exchanged, but the woman is very adamant that in order for me to give you my number, I need to get to know you. So that means prolonged texting. Okay, this
Hmm.
seems to be the I don't know the I don't even know the word to use for it, but it seems to be what everyone's using today. What do you think about that?
Usually, when I was dating, that's how I was, because a lot of these men really don't want nothing but to smash. So in order for me to feel like you're serious, we're gonna talk a couple times on this dating site. Um, Video chat a little bit. Like, me personally, once I video chat with you 3 times off of my number, or off of like social media, and I feel comfortable to give you my number, then that's when I give out numbers. But if I don't feel comfortable enough to give you my number, I don't give my number out, and I wouldn't expect anybody to give me theirs. But for me, it's just more of a comfortability thing, because I have kids, so I have to be extra eerie about who I let around me because of my daughters.
Right.
So,
So that's understandable, and that's respect. I can respect that. But what about when they don't even want to do any video chat or any phone conversation? Because you got all these text
mhm,
things, that you can go and create a number
Mm-hmm.
and talk on the phone. I'm talking about the people that hide behind the text that don't even use proper grammar.
Oh no, I don't talk to them. I do not talk to them kind of people because why are you talking like that? I I'm a very articulate person, so I need to be able to feel like I'm having a how do you say, like, an intelligent conversation with somebody.
Right.
I cannot sit on the phone and talk to people who spelling people PPL. I cannot do that. I don't I or I don't I the way they type now is weird. Like, and I be having to ask them, what does that mean? What is this? What is this? What happened to just spelling out the words? Are you that lazy? That's what it feels like to me. It's like once you start talking like that, the conversation gets lazier and lazier and lazier. So it's like, what do you really want to talk to me for at this point? You're not trying to talk to me to get to know me.
Well, that seems to be the norm. People using acronyms and ebonics, but
Mm,
it's because it's the norm. Everybody does it. And as I've addressed the issue, because that's not the way I choose to correspond, um, it's I'm complaining. Everybody's doing it. Well, that's not an effective way to communicate as far as I'm concerned. Okay. And it's like you said, it's a belief that most women think that most men, and I can't speak because I'm not privileged to the texts that these men are shooting at these women and things like that. All I can go by is the information that I'm getting from the women. That women believe that most men are only on here to, as y'all call it, smash. In fact, I had a woman tell me that today that, what is it that you want? Well, first of all, I'm on here trying to promote my show. I never asked you anything personal about your personal life until I get you on the show. So it's kind of odd to me, when you're trying to reach out to people. That communication, as you said, earlier, is so far detached because people just are not effective communicators anymore. It's like, I don't give a F what you think. This is how I talk. If you don't like it, get off my line. That's the impression I get. Are you
like
are you
nothing,
can you hear me?
not, like nothing is really communicating. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh no, what happened?
Yeah, you're going in and out.
I don't know what happened to
So I think LaDonna is having a little technical issues, but uh, get up on the bed. I think it would be safe to say, in 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 regards to the young lady that's a guest on, we we're in agreement about most of the things when it comes to the perspective of women today. And there were a few things that we disagreed on. But what I can respect is it's not so much as what you say, it's how you convey it. And when a lot of people think just because they can make a sound with their voice, that it validates a lot of the garbage that comes out their mouth, and it doesn't. So um, if you want to be heard, then say something that has with. Are you there, LaDonna? Hello? Yeah, she's having some issues. So what we're gonna do is, because I'm about ready to this show is coming to an end. But again, I would like to encourage and thank each and every one of you that have tuned in today. Some shows may be a little bit more appealing to your light than others. That's fine. If you have a topic that you would like me to discuss, or you have some questions, then please shoot me a comment.
Oh, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Can you hear me, LaDonna? Yes. What I would like to do, if I can get more participants, is do a Q&A. And we'll that Q&A will be based upon your questions to me in reference to
Okay.
relationships. Um, can you hear me, LaDonna?
I can hear you now. I don't know what was going on.
Okay. Well, what I was doing is waiting for you to get back on. I was just basically extending courtesy to the people that's on and the people that may see it at a later date. What I want to do is do a Q&A, and
Okay.
you know they can ask me whatever questions as long as it's pertaining to relationships. Okay,
Right.
I don't want to get off this. I don't want to get into homosexuality. I don't want to get into politics. I don't really want to get into church and things like that. So if this based on relationships, then it's in reference to what we're discussing. Then we can talk about it. So I extend this courtesy to you also, to your family and friends out there in Texas. Um, if they would like to be guests, we can do audio or video based on their preference. And I can have up to 10 people on the show at one time.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, I'm
so
very interested.
yeah, and I really thank you for taking your time out. I know you're busy, you have a family, to express your perspectives and share with me, the things you believe, because this is how I learn.
Right.
Is engaging with people that have had different experience than what I've had in life, and it's still a process for me, a learning process. You
Right.
know, so if you have any family or friends, and if you choose to, you have my you have my information. So contact me, and because we're on Monday through Friday.
Mhm.
And it's a 2 hour time. So if you need to be on at 8 your time, that's fine.
Mhm.
We're normally on, it would
Oh,
be 10 your time and 8 my time.
okay.
But if we need to change the times, I'll accommodate you
Okay.
or your friends, because what we can do is, I would prefer to do live recordings. This is live, but we can
Mhm.
do pre-recordings and air them at a different date and time.
Okay.
You
Well,
know what I'm
just
saying? So,
yeah. So
so
just let me know, because like I said, I'm very interested. I don't have nothing else to do. I was honestly thinking of starting a podcast myself about the same thing, but I was gonna open it up to a lot of things. But yeah, I think this would be good for me. Could be good for both of us, especially you since you're starting out, right?
right.
Yeah, so it should be good. I'll definitely invite some of my friends, of course, family, to sit and listen to the show so you can get a broader audience for sure.
Right. Yeah. So both male and female.
Yes, sir.
I'm not discriminating against men, because
Mhm.
oftentimes I used to have, when I first started this show almost a year ago, I
Mhm.
had I had a lot. I had more men on than I did women,
Yeah.
and it's funny because the men thought like the women.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and it was funny I never took any offense to it
Mm-hmm.
because most of the conversations that we had, they sided with the women. But at the end of the day, I think my perspective still stood tall above them all.
Right.
Because when I talk, I try to talk with not only my personal experience at my age, but I try to deal with research and facts. And I think a lot of people just talk off the cuff of their head and, things they've heard that sound good. Well, if you're going to have a discussion with me and try to have a debate, then I think you need to do your homework.
Right.
And I think what they try to do is throw a TV to validate the things that they were saying, and oftentimes it didn't even work out. I would let them talk, and then once I said my say, it was what it was. So yeah, but yeah, I'm also looking to bring aboard one or two co-hosts.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're interested, please hit me up. Actually, get off. Um, I'm gonna close this out. Stay in queue, and I'll talk to you once I close the live stream.
Okay.
Okay, so let me close this live stream. Again, we're coming to a point. I'd like to thank each and every individual that participated. I encourage you to participate more. Encourage your family and friends to participate, both men and women. Your ethnicity doesn't matter. This content is based upon relationships. We do not discuss homosexuality or politics or church, unless you're giving a quote or something. Please keep in mind that everyone on the show is to be respected. We can't get around that. Everybody's opinion is different. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to bring this to a close. Again, I thank you, I love you, and I appreciate all the support that you've given. And we'll be on tomorrow well, let me see what guests I have. It'll probably be anywhere between 6 and 8. With that, please be safe. God bless you. Until tomorrow, take care. Stay on, LaDonna.
Okay.